Vision, percentage does, first class of the day, class number one, junior percentage does 0 to 3 months. Right off the bat, we want to welcome back our three judges that have worked tirelessly yesterday and will finish up today for our junior show. Judge number one, Mr. Jason Brashear from Hazard, Kentucky. Jason's been raising boar goats since 1999. He started judging in the early 2000s, became a licensed judge first with the International Boar Goat Association in 2007 and the ABGA in 2014. Jason has been blessed to judge county fairs, majors, and national shows coast to coast. He presently serves as the executive director in Pine Mountain Settlement School in Harlan County, Kentucky, focusing on environmental literacy, sustainable agriculture, and Appalachian culture and craft. Jason and his wife Shasta and their two daughters, Shy and Ireland, love raising percentage boar goats on their mountain farm in eastern Kentucky. The next judge, Mr. Clint Dimmitt, originally from Bridgeport, Texas. His family owns and operates Dimmitt Livestock and Sandy Creek Boar Goats. Clint was a member of the successful South Plains Collegiate Livestock Judging Team and later competed on the Texas Tech Collegiate Judging Team for both livestock and meats evaluation during college. Clint enjoys traveling the country judging various stock shows and has been truly excited to work with the youth in Louisville this week. Our final judge in our junior show today, Mr. Sammy Lorena and his wife Taylor live in Lipan, Texas, where they own and operate Red Oak Ranch. The herd consists of 150 head of goats. Sammy has been an ABGA member since 2006 and became a certified judge in the spring of 2014. Since then, he's judged in over 25 different states. Some of his judging highlights have included 4 different times serving as a judge with the ABGA National Show. He's judged the Yellow Rose Classic at Fort Worth twice, the North American here in Louisville twice, and the Houston Livestock Show. Along with actively raising competitive show goats, Sammy also has a small ruminant reproductive business where much of the year he travels the country AIing 500 to 700 head of sheep and goats. Those of you around ringside, welcome our 3 JABGA judges back to the ring this morning. Obviously, shows of this magnitude would not be possible without the support of the major sponsorship we've had. Today, our percentage show's corporate sponsor is Weaver Show Supply. We appreciate the Weaver organization for their support of our JABGA percentage show today. Likewise, we want to recognize ShowRite Show Feeds, all they do in promotion of the livestock world and especially the boar goat industry. We thank ShowRite Feeds for their support of the JABGA program. Also, we would be remiss if we didn't recognize a number of our major sponsors for the entire week: Purple Vision Show Feeds, Sullivan Supply, Showcoat, Purina, and TD Wall. We'd ask that you put your hands together and thank all these sponsors for supporting our youth here in Louisville at the JABGA National. Just one quick announcement. We want to remind everyone the Lowe's truck will be leaving shortly after lunch today. The Lowe's supply truck, will be leaving shortly after lunch. So if you need any supplies, shavings, whatever, for the remainder of the week, make sure you stop in and check with them to pick up your needs before they leave today shortly after lunch. Now we're ready for comments from Judge Brashear on Class 1, 0 to 3s.
Certainly a wonderful class to get us started this morning in our 0 to 3 percentage doe. For us, I think the white-headed doe is one that put the pieces together for us today in terms of structural integrity, in terms of look and design and freshness. One that certainly opens up big at the point of the blade, carries with the dimension down the top side of her skeleton and into a tremendous hip. She's one in comparison to the female that follows her. We feel like they pair up nicely and being really upfronted, attractive, kind of fault-free females, but we feel like the white one comes to us with just a little more oomph and power today. Taking nothing away from the paint doe that comes in second, a really phenomenal female, one that you love the extension through her front end. You love how she opens up. You get your hands on her. She may not quite be as stout down into that inner leg as our class winner, but one that's certainly out on all four corners, one that's just not maybe at the stage of the game of that class winner, but a really nice one coming out in second. The doe that comes in third, one that we fell in love with from the point she come in the ring. We really appreciate her. She's not the biggest out here, but we think she's got a huge future. She's extremely square made. She's fancy fronted. She's extremely dimensional. You get over top of this one, you see her just kind of open up at that blade. You see that width and dimension carry throughout. You love the length and levelness about her. You love just the natural density that she comes to her. Is she as fancy fronted as the two in front of her? Is she as stout at this stage in the game? Probably not, but we think that's a maturity issue in this good young kid. The dapple-headed female is one that we enjoyed in terms of just that mass and power that she brings into the class. She's one that compared to the contemporaries in front of her gets a tad plainer headed, but one we certainly love in terms of bone and squareness front to back. Then we got our big outlier doe, one that we love from that hip forward. I love the way that this one really opens up in her rib cage. She comes at us with a tremendous amount of capacity, but as we get from hooks to pins, we get a little too upright for us, and I think that throws off the angles of those rear legs as she's starting to motor around us. But we got a nice, certainly growthy female that we appreciate in the spot back doe moving out next. The black doe is one I think that sometimes can be hard to look at. She's one that you get your hands on and you really fall in love with her. She's got a whole lot more width and dimension than you would expect. You love the silhouette that she's got in comparison to the goats in front of her. I don't know that she's quite as deep in her forerib. I don't know if she's quite as massed up and as dense as the goats that stand in front of her. The doe that follows is another one that we certainly appreciate in terms of kind of the front two-thirds of her. But as we get out into that hip, one that's a little steeper out of her hip, one that wants to, we'd like to tweak those angles ever so slightly to just have her track and travel just a tad more true. The doe that follows, one that certainly got some density and thickness to her, one that certainly got some look through her front end, but in comparison, she's one that gets just a nickel shorter than the rest of the class. We round out the class with a really pretty up-fronted black-headed doe, one that gets a tad frailer at the ground, one that just doesn't quite have the mass and muscle that we see in the rest of the class, and we like to power up just a tad bit. Thank you all.
Congratulations to all our exhibitors in Class 1, your junior percentage does 0 to 3 months. At this time, we're ready for Class 2 in our junior percentage doe division, does born 3 to 6 months. Results of Class 1. JABGA National Percentage Doe Show. Your national class winner goes to T-Walk Angel Wings, shown by Tegan Walker, Indiana. Second, your reserve champion in the 0 to 3 class, T-Walk There's Only Butterflies, again shown by Tegan Walker. Third in the drive goes to SBZ1 Smudge, shown by Isabella Phillips. Fourth in the class goes to T-Walk Pocket Full of Posy, shown by Tegan Walker. Fifth in the drive goes to Wiki Lady Marmalade, Faithlin Shoal. Sixth in the class goes to Case Hubin. Seventh goes to Christian Stockberger. Eighth in the class goes to Cable Knotts. Ninth goes to Clark Hubler. This time we have Class 2 Class 2, does born 3 to 6 months. Your junior percentage does, they're in the class at this time. Congratulations to those young people on the rail. They're excused at this time. Once again, just a quick announcement. Those of you back in the barn, those of you around ringside, we encourage you to stop back in the back. Visit with the vendors back in the back there. Support their program of being here at the Junior National this year. They've got supplies of all different kinds, shapes, and forms. Stop by and visit with those. Thank them for being part of your JABGA National Show this year in Louisville. This time we're ready for Judge Dimmitt to give his comments on Class 2, 3 to 6 month old percentage does.
Well, good morning, and it's another good day to be here in Louisville to get to sort through some livestock. And we saw a lot of good ones yesterday. I think we're starting off on the right foot today. I think a super good set here. And the one that wins, again, I think combines the 1 and 2 and 3 and does it in a very high quality package, starting right up front versus the one right behind her. That one's neater about her front third, the way she ties into her chest and her shoulder. And past that, study her out of her hip and her hind leg. I think she's just a shot more extended, a shot longer. I think it's her skeletal quality and her extra look that get her to the nod here today. One coming out here in 2 is big, wide, and extra powerful. Like her performance and I like her density a good deal. One that's super square on all fours, and you like that about her. For me, we started studying that one compared back to my winner. Just a shot thicker about her neck, not quite as stout in her skull. Wants to get just a shot rounder about her shoulder, but no question about it. That's the widest, the biggest bodied, and the densest goat in here. I think she needed to make her way up pretty quick. One coming out here in 3. I like this one just in terms of elegance, in terms of build quality from the side. That's the way we like to construct them. Tall-fronted, smooth-shouldered, extended, and all fours are wide, square, and pointing the right direction. That one's super athletic in motion. We get our hands on that one. I didn't see quite the density of the 2 up ahead of her today, but one that certainly got a big-time future. I like that one's look. I like that one's build a good deal. Black Doe coming next, a little bit more higher in terms of her performance. That one's tall-fronted, and that one's long-sided. I really appreciate that about her. When we get right up on top of that one, she gets a shot easier down her spine, not quite as level out of her hip, but I think there's a lot of good pieces there. Young lady does a great job getting that one shown. One coming out here in 5. This one might be the greenest, the most immature today. I don't know if she's the youngest, but I think she could resemble that when you study that one again. I think one that gives you a killer look. When she was out here on the lap, that one's super athletic. I like that one's build a good deal. For me, she just runs out of gas today compared back to the top 4. One that just doesn't have the total body mass and dimension today. One coming out here and next, I think one that's super nice and just in terms of being a long-sided, really feminine doe that handles hard. Just wish she was a shot more opened up. We need more pride to her chest floor, more pride to her pin set. Just power that one up. I think that one will be really nice. Black Doe coming next is one that's got a lot of good pieces. She's high-headed. She's really big right there over her loin and out of her hip. For me, that one just didn't balance quite as well. She gets a shot tighter right there behind her shoulder where her neck ties out. Shot shorter there out of her hip. If we could just extend her in that back third, I think it'd help her just balance out ever so slightly. A big middled one here. That's a high-performing doe that's soft-centered. I appreciate that I mentioned that one offers for me. Just need to make her a shot stronger right behind her top line. When she got around the ring, she wasn't quite as coordinated on those lower joints. The pair we're going to round out with some that are moderate, boxy in terms of their design for us. Just need more extension off of both ends. 2 really nice ones. Let's put our hands together for them both.
At this time, we're ready for Class 3. Class 3 junior percentage does, born 3 then to 3 to 6 months of age. Class 3 entering the ring at this time. Results of Class 2, your junior percentage does, that first class of 3 to 6 month does. Winning the class, JDJ 77 Casinos Jade, shown by Jordan Jelinek. Second in the class goes to 2 Farm, blowing up like Dynatime, Remington York on the chain. Third in the class goes to JDHN Chamomile, shown by Jackson Harmon. Fourth in the class goes to Oakley York. Fifth in the drive goes to Kayla Whitman. Sixth in the class goes to Walton Epperson. Seventh in the drive goes to Braxton Kimmel. Eighth in the class goes to Kylie Jackson. Ninth to Carson Workman. And 10th in the class, Lila Shipper. Again, in the ring at this time, we have Class 3 junior percentage does, 3 to 6 months. If you would, put your hands together and congratulate these young people on the rail. Thank them for their participation in this year's National Junior Show. Congratulations, kiddos. Again, just a quick announcement. The Lowe's truck will be leaving after lunch today. So if you need any shavings, any supplies, anything from Lowe's, make sure you check with them before lunch today. The Lowe's truck will be leaving after lunch today.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's another great day in Louisville, and it's another great class for this percentage show for the junior show. And the black-headed doe is the one that the three of us pretty easily gravitated towards, and that's one that we felt was really good about her head shape and smooth and clean about her sternum and her breastplate enough. And you study that one from the point of her shoulder back to her pin set. That one progressively carries a lot of depth and a lot of progressive shape and wedginess, and we appreciate how soft that one is still in her rear flank, and that's the advantages we saw over the one in second. Although I'll admit the one in second is just as good in terms of head shape and breed character. As you study that one from her navel back to her rear stifle, she gets a little bit tighter in that rear flank, and we want to maybe just ease her up just a hair and give her just a skosh more depth in that rear flank to rival that class winner just a hair closer. The young ladies doe there in third for us was one that is incredibly smooth and eye-appealing, gives you a tremendous look from the side. You love the head shape, the depth of that jaw, the cleanliness about her transitions. For us, she just didn't have as much natural red meat and muscle, especially when you get to handle that one compared to the females that stood ahead of her. The gentleman's paint belted doe there in fourth. That one really, again, gives you a tremendous silhouette from her head shape, the bridge of her nose, just beautiful in terms of curvature. That one really is good in terms of all those lines that she gives you. There again, she kind of runs out of fuel, and from her navel back gets a little bit tighter gutted. We want to ease that one up in terms of how much depth she can give us. We feel that will do a lot of things for that one in terms of a look from the side that she can give us. And the gentleman's got the solid red one. That one has a lot of muscle and naturally more curvature and expansion in terms of her rib shape. For us, she gets a bit shorter sided, and we want to give her a better angulation and set to that rear leg. We feel that's one that can take a more comfortable step with more fluidity when you get that one in motion if she was constructed a little bit different out of her hip and carried down to that rear two legs. The young lady in the pink shirt's got a traditional female that's really good in terms of look and design and natural elegance and attractiveness, but we feel she's just a skosh greener. But that's one in terms of fundamentals and feet and legs, still very sound and good. I think she just needs some more time on feed to really hit her stride. The kind of sandy colored female, that one's really cool in her look and her design, and you appreciate the look that one gives you. But when you get down to brass tacks and you get to handle that one, she just simply doesn't have as much muscle as what you expect that one to handle and have when you go to look at her. That one, if we can amplify a little bit in terms of natural shape and real muscle, I think that one there again could probably elevate herself in this particular class just a skosh more. And the gentleman there with the cape fronted doe, he's got one that's a bit more raw in terms of look, but that one right there is really good still in terms of head shape and natural foot and bone. If we can smooth her out just a hair across her top in terms of top line shape, she gets just a skosh rougher, we feel, right behind the point of her shoulder and across her hip. We get down to the pair of females that round out the class, and we've got some that certainly, again, you have to commend them and appreciate certain breed character traits in terms of head shape and top line. We just run out of fuel. Maybe there's some that we could correct their back legs in terms of angulation or maybe getting a little too much angulation for us. But let's give these kids a big round of applause.
At this time, we're ready for Class 4. Class 4 junior percentage does 6 to 9 months. 6 to 9 months. Class 4 are entering the ring at this time. Results of Class 3 just discussed by Judge Lorena. Your class-winning national female goes to entry 3629 PCSG I'm Trouble, shown by Bailey Brumfield. Second in the class, Maddie TRV, Fully Electrified, shown by Hunter Hessian. Third in the class goes to BRRG1 Unicorn Storm, shown by Riley White. Fourth in the class goes to Christian Stockberger. Fifth in the drive goes to Tucker Llewellyn. Sixth goes to Allie Gurley. Seventh in the class goes to Katie Whaley. Eighth in the drive to Wyatt Hubin. Ninth to Allie Gurley, and 10th in the class, Tucker Llewellyn. Again, at this time, Class 4 is in the ring. These are junior percentage does, 6 to 9 months. Once again, put your hands together and congratulate the young people on the rail. Thank them for participating in this year's JABGA National Show. Congratulations, kids. Again, we'd be remiss if we didn't thank our sponsors for today. The corporate sponsor of our percentage show today at your JABG National, Weaver Supply. We thank Weaver Supply. Provided numerous awards for the show today. Also want to thank ShowRite Feeds for their support of the program. Our show sponsors for the entire week, Purple Vision and Lowe's Purple Vision. We thank their support. Sullivan Show Supply, Showcoat, Purina Feeds, and TD Wall. If you get an opportunity to visit with those folks, thank them for their support of this year's JABGA and ABGA national shows.
We certainly a fun class to discuss out here because we got a lot of differences. We got a lot of goats we really like, some things we'd like to change, but ultimately we landed on the red female to start the class out with. One that certainly is the longest spine, most extended, extremely attractive female that's still good and correct at their feet and legs. She opens into a big cage and a tremendous hip into her, a beautiful silhouette on one, and just for the added just length and extension, I think really excels her over the top. Undeniably, we love the balance and the feet and legs of the doe that comes in second. One that certainly is attractive through her front end, or through her upper front end. We might could tuck this one in up into her chest floor ever so slightly, but one that certainly moves around fault-free. A nice one coming out in second. The doe that comes in third, we love the top line of this doe and the extension through her front end. In comparison to the two in front of her, she's just a little tighter about the flank on both sides, but one that certainly handles with some extension and handles with some expression. I think if we could do anything, soften this up ever so slightly, maybe lengthen that hip out, but one we certainly appreciate in terms of that profile view. We get a pair of blacks out here that we really enjoy in terms of body and in terms of look and kind. We feel like they've got the look that we really like. We just need to build them just slightly better. The one that walks out next, one that's just a nickel longer, but one that we certainly have got to open up at the hock as she's driving away from us. The doe that follows her, very similar in type and kind. You love the head, you love the body and shape, but one that just gets a little more choppy as she walks. She's not as free and flowing in terms of her stride to get her any higher today. The red doe that follows, one you certainly love the depth of body and mass that she brings, but one with as much mass we'd like to see just a shot more muscle and shape, especially coming out of that hip. And I think she just gets a tad plainer compared to the goats that stand in front of her. We got a pair of females here that I think are very similar coming in next. They're big top, they're up fronted, they're long-sided, but they both kind of had some of the same issues for us. They both get a little straighter off both ends of their skeleton. The young lady's one that's a little truer at her hock compared to the young man's that wants to turn in at that hock, especially on that left rear leg. And those are things we change about it. The red doe that follows, certainly one that is attractive in her lines. One, if we read her for just what she is, we like her. I think she balances up well. She's certainly square made. She's up fronted. She's given up way too much overall length and mass to get her any higher today. And the same thing with the young doe that follows. One that handles impeccably. Got a tremendous amount of natural red meat and shape to her, but one that just comes to us in a little more moderate package. But we certainly appreciate that power she brings to the class. Let's give these class winners a round of applause.
This time, we're ready for Class 5. Class 5, entering the ring, junior percentage does 9 to 12 months. Immediately following Class 5, we will be showing for your champion and reserve National Junior Percentage Doe Division champions. Immediately following Class 5, entering the ring at this time. Results of Class 4, Junior Percentage Doe, 6 to 9 months. Winning the class, your national class winner goes to entry 3658 AK2 Magnolia, shown by Ashley K. Gurley. Your reserve in the class goes to 3651 Maddie-TRV Smirnoff, shown by Lucy Rolls. Third in the class goes to SFTJK Lil Biscuit, shown by Colton Schaefer. Fourth in the class goes to McCoy Llewellyn. Fifth goes to McCoy Llewellyn as well. Sixth in the drive to Grace Ellis. Seventh in the drive goes to Allison LeConte. Eighth in the drive to Allison LeConte. Ninth goes to Colton Danke. And 10th in the class to Tyler Stollifer. Again, Class 5 is in the ring at this point. We need all those class winners and seconds in the previous 4 classes at ringside following this class to show for the National Division Champion in Reserve Junior Percentage Doe.
Well, another super nice class that we've got lined up here, and the one that wins does so fairly quickly for us with little discussion. When you study that one, I think she just separates herself from the pack with that kind of look. She takes it to the next level in terms of her width and her density versus the one directly behind her. That one's longer everywhere, down her spine, out of her hip, and in her stride. I think that one's super, super good. One that's fault-free in every aspect in motion in terms of her build, and you love her just in terms of her look. You love her in terms of her power. Real nice one there. One coming out in 2 and 3. There's more discussion here. I think two of them that are certainly really, really good. They got some differences between them. The one coming out here in 2, we thought just had a shot more shape there behind her shoulder and back to her stifle. I think that one just packed with more power from nose all the way back to her tail. That one in her own right's a really neat looking one. That's stout, structured, and wide. For us, just a shot shorter about her hip, a shot shorter down her spine. If we can extend that one out, I think she makes a hard push there at our winner here. But for us today, just a shot shorter couple there in her rear third. One coming out here in 3. You love her head. You love her horn set. You like the way that one ties high out of the top side of a really, really smooth shoulder. That one hits us with a lot of maternal quality. I think that one's going to have a lot of value there in the donor pen or in the breeding pen because those traits that she carries certainly read really good there in production. For us, it's out of her hip. She's just not quite as powerful back to her pin set compared back to the top 2, but front 2/3 of that one, you got to like a good deal. The one coming out neck, kind of spot back though, no question about it. That's a late mature and tall fronted one that's extended, and I really like finding ones that are built like that at the ground. That one's super flexible, just super athletic there in motion. For us, she's got to just come with more prime, more power, and more bulk and density there about her midrib, but no question about it. You like that one's look a good deal. One coming out next is different in terms of type and kind. This one's more moderate. This one is softer about her center rib and bigger from behind, and I really appreciate just the true dimension that one offers. We start studying her from the side. She's a shot plainer up front, shot rounder about her shoulder, and then I got to strengthen her around her rear pastern as she gets around the ring. I think that one's still a nice, powerful doe to be in the top 5. The next 3 we've got coming out kind of all resemble each other. The 2 that we've got coming next, I think, just hit me a shot longer bodied off of both ends. For us, they hit me a shot deeper chest, hit a shot coarser. The one right here, I think, just handles the shot more shape up high. As we said, I think the one coming next, one that's big outlined and dense for us, just got a shot coarse about her neck and her shoulder. Need to reassemble that one's hind leg ever so slightly. Shorter bodied one here, and I appreciate that one for being big centered and big pinned for us. Just needs to be more feminine up front, longer out of her hip. There's a pair of them here that are neat looking from the side. Maybe not quite as stout in terms of their bone work, in terms of their pin width and power pieces, but you really like this maternal elegance of those 2. We're going to round out with one that's super round bodied and big time touching for us. Just a shot tighter, and their front knee needs to be longer out of her hip. Let's put our hands together for an awesome class.
This time we need all those class winners and corresponding reserves in class in the makeup ring. Prepare to show for your junior champion drive. Results of Class 5, junior percentage does 9 to 12 months. Your class winner goes to Teal Genetics Doc's Forever Girl, shown by Bailey Brumfield. Reserve in the class goes to IJ Farms I&J Ida's Snow Cone, shown by Kayla Whitman. Third in the class goes to EFG Ellis's Moonlight Dancer, shown by Grace Ellis. Fourth in the class goes to Ashley K. Gurley. Fifth to Wyatt Stevens. Sixth in the class to Dalton Lawyer. Seventh in the drive also to Dalton Lawyer. Eighth in the class goes to Alexis Wills. Ninth goes to Brooke Arce. And 10th in the class goes to Jalen Rogers. At this time, your class winners and seconds are entering the ring for selection of your national champion percentage does. Those contestants that are finalists out of Class 1, your class winner, Tegan Walker, T-Walk Angel Wings. Second, also to Tegan Walker, T-Walk There's Only Butterflies. Out of Class 2, your class winner, Jordan Jelinek, JDJ 77 Casinos Jade. Second in the class goes to Remington York, T2 Farm, blowing up like Dynatime. Out of Class 3, your class winner, Bailey Brumfield with PCSG I'm Trouble, second in Class 3. Went to Hunter Hessian, Maddie TRV Fully Electrified. From Class 4, your class winner, Ashley K. Gurley, showing AK2 Magnolia, second in the class. Lucy Rolls on the chain of Maddie TRV Smirnoff. And out of Class 5, your final class, the 9 to 12s, your class winner, Bailey Brumfield, Teal Genetics Docs Forever Girl, and second, Kayla Whitman, IJ Farms, INJ Itis Snow Cone. Let's give all these exhibitors in your junior drive a big round of applause and congratulations for making it to your national champion junior drive. We do want to recognize the Mid-Atlantic Youth Sale as their sponsor of your junior division champion at this year's National Junior Show.
Folks, let's put our hands together for an absolute spectacular percentage dough show from our 0 to 3s all the way up to our 9 to 12s. Talk about quality. Talk about the top and kind that are put together right. They've got the look. They've got balance. They've got style. They're correct off their feet and legs. They're massive, yet they're still feminine, and they look like a female. For us, our champion was a no-brainer. It was, as they come in, it was, okay, here's where we go. And it's certainly one that we really appreciate in terms of just the mass and power and design that she's got. One that we feel is just on another level in terms of structural correctness and the way she lays about her blade. The breed characters she's got about her. Your 2025 JABGA National Grand Champion Junior Percentage Dough goes to the phenomenal 9 to 12. For us, as we get in and talked about our reserve, we talked a few other options, but there's one that kept coming to us in terms of base width and design and rib and extension, one that's incredibly long-sided, one that's pretty as a picture. Your reserve goes to that 6 to 9. Congrats.
And your national champion in the junior division of your percentage drive goes to entry 3663 out of the 9 to 12 class, shown by Miss Bailey Brumfield. Teal Genetics Stocks Forever Girl. Your reserve in the junior division, your reserve national champion junior doe out of class 4. Your class winner goes to AK2 Magnolia, Ashley K. Gurley on the chain. Congratulations, girls. At this time, we need all those entries in best pair of does, best pair of doe, kids. We need those in the ring at this time. Best pair of doe, kids. Results of your best pair of junior does. Your reserve champion pair goes to Allison LeConte. And your national champion pair of junior does goes to Tegan Walker. Congratulations, guys. Entering the ring. Entering the ring at this time, we change divisions into our yearling division of our percentage does. Ready for class number 6. Class number 6, yearling percentage does, 12 to 16 months. Again, we start into our yearling division, we want to recognize our sponsors for the day. Your percentage show sponsor for your JABGA show today, Weaver Show Supply. We appreciate Weaver and their support of our youth in the Borgone industry for our percentage drive today. Also, Show Right Feeds. We appreciate their support of our program. Our sponsors for the week, we appreciate them so much. Purple Vision, Sullivan Supply, Showcoat, Purina Feeds, and TD Wall. We thank you guys for all your support. Again, we've made this announcement, but as time continues to click off, understand, guys, if you need something from Lowe's truck, that truck will be leaving after lunch today. So if you need any supplies, any shavings, anything of that nature, that Lowe's truck is leaving after lunch today. Also, we ask that any of you guys that might be interested, the vendors back in the back, stop by and support them if you would. They graciously come, provide services to your junior national here as well as the ABGA national. Those vendors would appreciate you coming by and doing business with them. Stop by and visit anytime during the day. Congratulate these young people on the rail as we send them back to the barn. Thank you guys for participating in this year's National Junior Show. Congratulations, kiddos.
once again, a tremendous class in terms of quality, and a class where we felt on the top end of things really sorted itself. The young ladies, mostly red doe, that's one that the three of us rather easily landed on as a place to start from in terms of placing, and that one's incredibly good in terms of head shape and breed character. You look at that one over the top side of her shoulder. She's big top, she's wide rack, she's one that has a lot of progressional width. As you start to study that one from the center point of her rib cage all the way back to her hock set, that's one that really comes to the ground nice and square and maintains a lot of progressive and natural width. And the young lady's red paint doe that comes in second, we felt was probably closest in terms of pairing up to our class winner. One that maybe is just a skosh shorter in terms of flank to flank as far as length, but one that matches her in terms of shape out of that stifle and that hip, and one that's really, really good as well in terms of head and neck look and design. And the third place, though, our other painted up female, there's one that's really good again in terms of her front 1/3 of chest width and breed character and shape, where that one maybe ran out of fuel for us is one from her flank back. She doesn't have near as much shape or expression in that hip and rear stifle as our top pair of females. And the gentleman with our fourth place doe that's coming in next, that one right there again gives you a really stellar, intriguing look from the side. I think where we maybe wanted to critique and change that one is in her back two wheels. She's a little bit less coordinated, if you will, when you set that one in motion, and she is perhaps one of the more shallow or twisted ones in our top four. The young man in the red shirt with your fifth place one, he's got one that's certainly good and robust middle. You appreciate the natural rib shape that one gives you. She maybe gets a little bit boxier on us. If we can give her a shot more extension, elevate her up off the ground, pull her apart from end to end, I think if we could do those things, that one could probably rival a couple spots and change the outcome of what we did. The young lady's other painted doe that comes in that follows, that one right there really gives you a great look from the side, but gives you more of a disappointing feel when you go to handle that one. That one doesn't have near as much natural muscle and true shape as the females that finished out ahead of her, but one you certainly appreciate the amount of skeletal width that she still carries to the class. The more moderate sized doe that comes in, we've got this spotted female. There's one that, as I said, more moderate in terms of build and skeletal design, but still one you appreciate the turn to her rib and the look and design that one gives you. We got to get that one bigger, amplify in many ways. We got to get her taller or longer. And while we're at it, if we could critique her on her back two legs and give her just a little bit more set. The bigger, soggier doe that comes in next, you appreciate the natural depth. That one's a little bit lower chested, maybe doesn't have quite as much a cleanliness in a couple of ways, but you certainly appreciate the depth of body that one brings you. And we get to the paint doe that comes in next. That's our red-hipped one, one that you really like the look and the natural femininity and elegance, but there again, she runs out of power, and you get to study that one on her back two legs. There again, loses some coordination and doesn't have quite as much integrity in terms of how that one handles her rear too. We round out our top 10 with our black doe. There's one that's certainly striking in terms of presentation, and you appreciate the center body and the depth that one's got. You know, for us, there's one that we feel runs into some structural issues out of her hip, and I think it translates down to her rear two legs, one that gets entirely too straight for us, that we certainly want to give her just a notch more angulation. If we do that, I really feel we can free that one up in terms of flexibility and movement. Let's give these guys a big round of applause.
This time we're ready for Class 7. Class 7 yearling percentage does, 16 to 20 months. Class 7 entering the ring at this time. Results of Class 6, your yearling percentage does, 12 to 16 months. Went into class, entry 3682, CJSC, Shockingly Vera. Shown by Faithful and Shoal. Second in the drive. Teal Genetics, Dipped in Color, shown by Logan Holland. Third in the class goes to EFG RBMG, Share the Sugar, shown by Grace Ellis. Fourth in the class. Fourth goes to Deepon, Something Royal, shown by Drew Pontius. Fifth in the class goes to Wyatt Tucker. Sixth to Audrey Poling. Seventh in the drive to Kellen Knott. Eighth goes to Clark Hubler. Ninth in the class goes to Christian Stockberger. and 10th in the drive to Lindsay Van Wyck. Congratulations, kiddos. Again, Class 7 entering the ring. These are does that's 16 to 20 months in your percentage drive. 16 to 20 month percentage does. Attention ABGA exhibitors, in your buck show this afternoon, the 3 to 6 month class has been broken because of entries. Number of entries is that class has been broken. Those breaks are posted on the show website. Those breaks are posted on the show website. Just from a logistical standpoint, you notice that our schedule today shows lunch break after the group classes in our percentage drive. That is still the plan at this point. We will resume with the ABGA Buck Show no earlier than 12 noon. We will resume or start with the ABGA Buck Show no earlier than noon today.
Let's get out in our 16 to 20 class. I think an interesting one that we discussed some, and we pretty solidly ended up as the red paint female as our class winner. One that we certainly appreciate just the mass and power that she's got. She's got a big hind leg in there, an extremely deep twist, and for us, she just comes at us as that package that's really good in terms of the way she's built from the ground up. Undeniably, we love the length and extension of the doe that comes in next. One that wants to get a tad sharper in her hock, maybe not quite as deep and full out of that rear hip, but one undeniably is attractive on the profile that is up fronted and level topped. The Kate female is one, I think as we look at her, if we look at her in terms of just the way she parks out, we love the silhouette that she's got. She's up fronted, she's long and level out of her top, maybe to her detriment in terms of how level she is out of her hip. We love how full she is, the capacity that she brings. She's just one that gets just a tad more stiff off of both ends of her skeleton. We'd like to see a little bit more flex and reach as she's driving away from us. The doe that follows, certainly a really pretty fronted, really well-balanced one that we'd like to just make more comfortable about her knee, one that we'd like to open up a bit at her hock and just see more natural dimension from the ground up. The doe that follows, the dapple-headed doe, one that we certainly love in terms of just mass. She's one of the heavier females out here. But with that, she gets a tad heavier frontage. She's just a tad coarser in terms of the way she's designed. And we get this one in motion, and as we called it, she's got a little bit of a hitch in her giddy up. She's just not as smooth and fluid as the goats that stand in front of her. A big-sided, big-footed, long-sided, up-fronted female coming in next. One that we can just open up and give a little more natural shape and dimension to the female that follows. One that gets just a tad narrower at the ground and just wants to kind of angle down to her base of her skeleton. One we just like to see more skeletal integrity. The red one coming in here in our team. One I think's got parts and pieces we like. I love the way she kind of blends herself together from tip to tail. But I think as we get in around her, she gets flatter in her stifle, she gets shorter in her twist. The doe that follows, and as we round out the class, goats that certainly have got some style to them, but has some things we'd like to change. We'd like to correct the angles about their knee or their hock. We'd like to stouten them up and power them up just a little bit more, but a really nice class of 16 to 20.
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you. In the makeup ring, we need to be getting Class 8. Class 8 yearling percentage does 20 to 24 months. Entering the ring at this time. Yearling percentage does 20 to 24 months. Immediately following the completion of Class 8, we need all those first and second place does in the yearling percentage division back at ringside to show for your champion in reserve yearling percentage doe. Results of Class 7 yearling percentage doe 16 to 20 months. Your class winner, AK2 Alinda Lou, shown by Allie Gurley. Second in the class, CIC Whirlwind, shown by Cameron White. Third in the class goes to BWF 5, Nothing But Trouble, shown by Nicholas Domingo. Fourth in the drive, BAB4, Lil Boothang, shown by Tatum Thomas. Fifth in the class goes to Logan Fife. Sixth in the drive, Alex LeConte. Seventh in the class goes to Kimber Nussbaum. Eighth to Avery Gerald. Ninth in the class to Caitlin Stearman. And 10th in the drive, Will Pointer. Again, class number 8 is in the ring, the final class in your yearling division. Those 20 to 24 months. We need all those firsts and seconds in the yearling classes back at ringside to show for yearling champion immediately following Class 8 in the ring. Once again, we want to just give a heads up. The Lowe's truck will be leaving after lunch today. So if you need any supplies, anything from Lowe's, make sure you stop by and visit with them as the truck will be leaving after lunch today. Just a quick update. We missed a few sponsors, and I sure want to recognize them at this time. In our percentage division, that 0 to 3 class earlier this morning, we thank Logan Holland for her sponsorship of the 0 to 3 class. The 3 to 6 class, the first 3 to 6 class, Angel Heart Farm, we thank them for their support. The 6 to 9s, Wilson Brothers, we thank them for their support and sponsorship of that class. The 12 to 16 class, Box Alarm Farm, we thank them for their support of that 12 to 16 month class. This time we're in the 20 to 24 class, sponsored by Racing to the Heartland. Racing to the Heartland. We thank them for their support of this class in the ring at this time.
Well, I think you need to put your sorting shoes on when you're coming into this class because I think this class is super deep with a lot of quality. And the top two, I think, just kind of come up just in terms of genuine shape, still being the right kind of build. And then ultimately, I think the one that wins is just so bulletproof. When we compare the one right behind her, I like her better at the base of her shoulder and the way it ties in. I think she's smoother in that transition. Study her out of her hip. I think she's just a shot leveler there. And we get around the ring, I think she's just a shot more coordinated at the same time as she hits the surface in her own right. Man, that one is awesome in terms of being wide-chested, monster-topped, and huge pinned, and having that much power and that much shape. That one gives you a killer look, and it's got an awesome skeleton. When we ask these things to walk around the ring, that one can push and plant and never misses a beat. Just a really, really good one. The one coming out here in 2, again, I think in terms of genuine width and power at the base of her rib cage, that's where she beats the ones coming out in 3 and 4. That one is so opened up off of both ends and still stays square and wide at the ground and true. For me, maybe not quite as smooth in the way she lays into her shoulder, not quite as level out of her hip, but there's a lot of meat, there's a lot of power, there's a lot of quality set in the one sitting in second. Ones in 3 and 4 kind of resemble the same mold. They're both tall-fronted. They're both really elegant, really maternal females that are good in terms of their structure and their function for us when we start studying them and really breaking them down. The one coming next, I think, just a shot tighter about her flank. I didn't know she had quite as much genuine shape there at the base of her forerib. The same could be said for kind of the cape shoulder one coming next. One that's awesome in terms of her balance, really gives you a neat maternal look. I like that a good deal. We get right up on top of that one. I think she's just a shot greener, more immature, if you will, about her forerib, not quite as pried apart back from behind. Totally different terms of type and kind coming next. This one is moderate, this one is chunky, and this one is big-backed and thick-ended. I really appreciate just the brood doe power this one offers for us. I think this one just comes in more pieces. This is the one that's the easiest to pick a hole in the top 5. We get them in motion. She's got to be longer up front. She's got to be more extended out of her hip. I think that just makes her be a shot shorter in terms of her stride and step. I didn't know she was quite as coordinated as the top 4. One coming out next is awesome in terms of that one's extension, really cool-headed and sits high out of the top side of a really smooth shoulder. That one handles hard and expressive. We get back to its hip and hind leg. That one's just a shot shorter hipped. Even though she's long spine, she's short hipped and shallow twisted, and I think it just kind of throws off her balance. But there's certainly some nice pieces in that one. A really functional doe kind of coming out next. Long neck, smooth shoulder, really extended for us. Just gets a shot more out there in terms of her breastbone and her chest. Need to freshen her up front. The next 2 that are coming out are pretty moderate and boxy for us. Just need to be extended off of both ends, but you really appreciate just the true density they've got. Just a shot shorter coupled up front, need to be longer out of their hip. Really functional one we've got here going to round us out. Just maybe not the totals in terms of body mass and dimension today, but one that certainly holds a place in production, represents long-lasting livestock. Let's put our hands together and congratulate them all.
Congratulations to our exhibitors in Class 8, your final yearling percentage doe class. We need all those firsts and seconds in the previous yearling classes in the makeup ring to enter for champion yearling percentage doe. Results of Class 8 winning the class. 1 Hayes KYBF Azalea, shown by Logan Holland. Second goes to AK2 Mazzy May, shown by Lauren Sutton. Third goes to AK2 Rosemary, shown by Allie Gurley. Fourth in the class goes to AK2 Lily Allie Gurley. Fifth, Tucker Llewellyn. Sixth goes to Colton Schaefer. Seventh in the drive, Jalen Rogers. Eighth goes to Grace Ellis. Ninth to Kaya Nipper. And 10th, Alec Smith. Congratulations, young people. Entering the ring at this time, your class winners and their corresponding seconds in all of our yearling classes. Our contestants out of Class 6, winning the class was Faithlyn Schul, CJSC Shockingly Vera. Second in that class, Logan Holland with Teal Genetics dipped in color. Out of Class 7, your class winner, Allie Gurley, AK2 Linda Lou. Second went to Cameron White, showing CIC Whirlwind. And out of Class 8, your 20 to 24s winning the class. Logan Holland won the Hayes KYBF Azalea. Your reserve in that class, Lauren Sutton, showing AK2 Maisie May. Let's put our hands together and congratulate our kiddos competing in your Champion National Show Yearling Division. We do want to recognize our sponsor for the Yearling Division today, the Mid-Atlantic Youth Sale. Thank you for sponsoring the Yearling Division of our JABGA National Percentage Show.
Well, let's put our hands together for 6 awesome individuals showing 6 elite livestock out here. Again, I think as we said yesterday and all day this morning, just good livestock start at the ground. They got to be built right in terms of their skeleton. They got to look like a high-quality show goat. At the same time, we got to pack as much meat and muscle in that skeleton as we possibly can. These ones out here, I think, do that at a very, very high level. For us, I think there's 2 of them that just combine that density and take it to another level. And then there's one in particular, I think just a shot sleeker in terms of her front end design, her head, neck, and horn set. And I think it just makes her a shot more feminine in terms of her overall look. If you will, let's put our hands together for this doe out of the first class. She'll be your champion. We bring that second over, and we really like that paint doe. We thought there was a lot of quality there, and so I think she fits in the mix very, very good. There's one in particular, I think, that just takes density and body and squareness, just being so seamless from every angle and the way that she transitions. Let's put our hands together for the doe out of the last class. She'll be reserved.
Congratulations to your percentage national champion, Yearling Does. Your champion, entry 3682, CJSC Shockingly Vera, shown by Faithful and Shoal. Your reserve out of class number 8, your reserve national champion, Yearling, One Hayes KYBF Azalea, shown by Logan Holland. Congratulations, girls. We'll get a couple of pictures. In the back, we need class 9, senior percentage does. Senior percentage does, 24 to 36 months. One entry. We need you in the makeup ring, please. At this time, entering the ring, class 9, senior percentage does, 24 to 36 months. 24 to 36 months. That's your entry, judges.
Moving into our senior class, our senior division, I got a single entry out here, but one we certainly appreciate for the productivity that she's got. She's one that's certainly square and attractive through her front end. She's up-fronted and just well balanced as we step off the side. We'll see her back out here for the drive. Let's give her a round of applause.
Congratulations to your national class winner, RMR3 Rebel Rodeo Queen, shown by Chase Zilkowski. Congratulations, Chase. Need to keep her close by. At this time, we're ready for class number 10, your final class in the senior percentage drive. Those 36 months and older. 36 months and older. We need those in the ring at this time. Grandma class. As our 36 plus class enters the ring, we want to recognize our sponsor of this class. It's the Circle of Winners sale. The Circle of Winners sale sponsoring our final class in your JABGA percentage dough drive. Thank you, Circle of Winners Group.
Well, real quick, this will be the last time I'm on the microphone today, and so I want to take a second to sit back and just say thank you for the opportunity for having me here today to be able to judge with Sammy and to be able to judge with Jason. And I tell you, I've had an awesome time. The last 2 days, two livestock evaluators that I hold a high regard to their opinion. They're super good. They know exactly what a good goat looks like. They know a lot about our breed standards, and they hold it to them out here. And so it's been a real honor to get to judge with them. And I want to thank everyone that came into the show that supported it. And I want to thank everyone that helped put it on. If you are around the ringside right now, let's put our hands together and let's thank each and every person behind the scenes. They're working late nights, they're working early mornings, and they're giving up a lot to see these juniors succeed. And growing up through the JABGA, I tell you, is a dream of mine from the time I was 10 years old to get to judge this show. And so it's real cool to be able to sit back and see the stock and see the quality and see where our industry is really moving towards. And it's awesome. And I think, each and every day we go out there and we strive to make them better. I think we're definitely doing that out here. And I'll tell you, these 36-plus months, to see ones that have been in production and that look this good when they come back out, I think that's super good, and that's just a direct statement to the care and the daily care y'all are giving them at home. These things are super good. They're functional. They're sound, and that's fun to work with livestock that you like. And we've seen a lot of good livestock the last few days, and so I'm very, very thankful for that opportunity. We get back into them here, and I think one that resembles the kind we've been after building the whole show. One that's built right at the ground that looks like a good female should up front, that's got as much shape and power as you can possibly pack into one. I'm not going to tell you that one's the tallest at the point of her shoulder, but that one's plenty tall enough for us. That one's not too moderate. That one's square. That one's boxy. That one's wide. And that one's so true versus the one right behind her. I think she works more genuine shape right at the back side of her shoulder, back to her hip. That one is packed full of power, and from every angle, that one is as square made as you can possibly make one. The one coming out next is just a shot more elevated, if you will, at the point of her shoulder. That's a tall-fronted, smooth-shouldered one that's really, really good in terms of her design. And she's got some shape. She's got some power. Compare her back to the one that beats her, she's just not quite as dense, not quite as opened up. I didn't think she was quite as extreme in the amount of density and the amount of shape that she's got on her today. One coming out here in 3 on the standstill, man, we like this one a good deal. She's monster bone. She's awesome about her head, neck, and horn set. And you just love that one's maternal wedge from her forerib back to her flank. That one is really, really good. We get her in motion, and that's why she sits third today, because her rear two, we got to make them just plant and push, a shot more coordination, a shot more reach and flex and function, because we love just how stout, we love how maternal that one looks there on the standstill. Next two does coming in line, I think kind of a matchup very similar. They're wide, they're square, and they've got a lot of shape. They're deep and full about their stifle. For us, the black doe, we get that one out in motion. She kind of wants to roach up in her top and camp her hind leg up underneath her. I didn't know if that one was quite as functional in the way she holds her top line there in motion. The red doe we've got, we start studying that one. Front 2/3, you like a real good deal. It's out of her hip. She just wants to round ever so slightly. I didn't know if she just planted and pushed quite as agile as the top 4 in here, but I'll tell you, that one is really, really good, the front 2/3. One coming out next, I love this one from her knee and from her hock joint up. Because that one is so maternal. She's good in terms of her rib shape and the way that she wedges and progresses. We got to make her stouter. We got to have a stouter set of feet and legs. We just need to intensify her in terms of her bone work and her rear ankle, and we could certainly move her up here in class. Other paint doe coming out next, one that's really feminine. I love that one's wedge. Again, one that's good in terms of her balance. I think that one just needs to come a shot more amped up in terms of her skull and forearm and front foot. We need to make that one a shot stouter with a shot more breed character there. Other than that, I think that one's really maternal, and you like the way she balances a good deal. One coming out next is really dense, really boxy and opened up. I like how soft-centered she is. She's just a shot rounder and coarser in her shoulder, needs to be longer out of her hip. The different story there coming out next, because this one is long-fronted. She's super long-sided. I like that one's added elevation and extension. For us, that one just a shot more upright in terms of the angle to her shoulder and her front knee. I didn't know if that one was quite as big from behind as well. One coming out next, I think, is one that's more moderate in terms of her type and kind. Not quite the same amount of pride, not quite the same amount of power as we saw up front. The next two coming out are ones that are good in terms of their balance pieces and the way they're built underneath. Maybe not quite the same amount of look up front, maybe not quite the same amount of power out back. We're going to round out with one that's big, centered, and good balance for us. She need to change her out of her hip and her hind leg. Once again, thank you for having me. It's been an awesome time. God bless.
Congratulations to our contestants in our final class, the 36-plus class. We'll give you results on them in just a moment. This time, we need those entries. Your class winner from class 9, and your first and second from Class 10. We need those back in the ring to show for your national champion senior percentage doe. Results of Class 10, your 36 plus class, sponsored by the Circle of Winners sale. Winning the class, Olivia Rosemeyer, 5RF square shooter. Second in the class goes to Adeline Horn, Addie Blackdrop. Third in the drive goes to Maddie TRV Tweet About Me, shown by Bailey Brumfield. Fourth goes to Taylin Davis. Fifth in the class goes to Natalie Scholl. Sixth go in the drive. Sixth goes to Katie McCulley. Seventh in the class, Kaya Nipper. Eighth goes to Macy Elliott. Ninth in the class goes to Logan Holland. 10th in the drive. 10th went to Olivia Rosemeyer. 11th in the class. 11th to Victoria Gammons. 12th in the drive to Remington York. And 13 to Audrey Poling. At this time, we have our contestants in the ring for senior champion. Congratulations, guys.
Well, as Clinton just did moments ago with his closing speech, it's time for me to do the same, as this will be the last chance for me to have the mic. And I just want to say thanks to everybody, just like he did, and our superintendents that have been here. They've been here for days already before we got here, and they're going to continue to keep working long days for the next few days still after we leave. And to get the chance and the opportunity to judge at these national shows has been a tremendous privilege, I feel. It's a privilege it's given to us by you guys, the members that vote for us, and we certainly appreciate it. It's a huge honor. It's been a blessing and incredibly humbling as well, especially to share the ring with these two individuals that I've got a lot of respect for. It's been a great couple of days. Every year, I feel like the animals improve and get better, and to come back and do these shows, whether it's the junior or the open shows, it's just a tremendous amount of fun. The quality is just second to none of what you'd expect on the national level. And as we get down to brass tacks here in this particular division, there's a pair that really fit the mold of what we've been doing our best to try to find throughout the last of the 2 days. And the pair of females from our 36 plus are going to be your division champion reserve. Let's give these two young ladies a big round of applause.
Congratulations to your national champion, senior percentage doe, entry 3728, shown by Olivia Rosemeyer, 5RF square shooter. Your reserve national champion, senior doe, entry 3730, Addie Blackdrop, shown by Adeline Horn. Congratulations, girls. We'll get some pictures, and then the time has come. We are ready after photos to show for your national champion overall percentage female. Entering the ring at this time, your national champion division winners. Congratulations, guys. Your champion junior percentage doe out of class 5, 3663, shown by Bailey Brumfield. That's Teal Genetics Doc's Forever Girl. Your yearling champion, entry 3682. 3682 is CJSF Shockingly Vera, shown by Faithful and Shoal. And just selected your national champion senior female, entry 3682. 3682 out of the 36 plus class, shown by Olivia Rosemeyer, 5RF square shooter. Let's give those champions a big round of applause. That's your national champion females. The judges will now confer, select your overall champion. We do want to recognize once again those three gentlemen that we've entrusted with the selection of your champions the last 2 days. What a phenomenal job they've done. Obviously, we want to recognize Mr. Jason Brashear from Hazard, Kentucky, Mr. Clint Dimmitt, originally from Bridgeport, Texas, and Sammy Lorena from Lipan, Texas. Let's give them a nice round of applause, guys. There's your judges. You chose to select your national junior champion show animals. Obviously, once again, as we wrap up the individual animals awards, we want to recognize Weaver Show Supply, your sponsor, your percentage show today. Let's give Weaver Show Supply a big round of applause. Huge supporters of our youth program here and with the ABGA. We want to recognize Show Right Feeds, as well as our entire show sponsors for the week: Purple Vision, Sullivan Supply, Showcoat, Purina Feeds, and TD Wall. We thank you all for supporting the ABGA, JABGA National Show Program. We will make one last recognition. The Lowe's truck. Again, the Lowe's truck will be leaving after lunch. So if you need anything from the Lowe's group, make sure you visit with them pretty soon, as they will be leaving immediately after lunch today. And again, as always, we ask you guys, particularly here at lunch, stop back by the vendors in the back, visit with them, support them as for being a part of our JABGA National Show today.
I give up on this mic today. I get started talking and then it's not on. As it's my last time on the mic, certainly it has been my pleasure to be here. As Sammy and Clint said, it's so humbling to be voted on by your peers and be able to be here on this biggest stage. And we certainly don't take that lightly and have taken our job extremely seriously. It has been a pleasure to work with these guys. I worked at our first national show, our first national show with Sammy back in 2016. In 2017, I think we used Clint as a champion with his buck. So we go way back, and it's nice to get out here. And I tell everybody, if you're a judge or you're an evaluator, please judge in this scenario. You learn more by talking with people that you respect and you understand than you can ever in any other contest. If you can sit here and cuss and discuss them, and I think it's one of the greatest things that we get to do as our industry, and it's certainly an honor and just a humbling experience for us. Thanks to our fellow judges, our show staff, all of our exhibitors, everybody that's ringside. We're here for the final bit of the JABGA show. Folks, it's been a tremendous 2 days. I'm not going to take a whole lot of time here, but for us, our champion was an easy decision. It became a little close, a little more close as we talked about our reserve, but our champion is one that is just sound and functional. We've talked about style. We've talked about eye appeal. We've talked about build and natural thickness and natural dimension. And for one, there's one of those that checks all those boxes. For us, your 2025 national champion percentage doe goes the phenomenal Yearling in the middle. For us, as we get into the reserve, I think we really enjoy those that we have out in this line, and we think each and every one of them have a tremendous amount to offer the industry, the world, their herds, and the United States herd in general in terms of making good, sound, quality percentage does. But for us, back to those foundation of being good builded, stout made, pretty fronted, tremendous individuals. That senior will be our reserve. Congratulations.
There they are, guys. Your national champion percentage doe goes to your champion yearling. Entry 3682. 3682 is CJSF Shockingly Vera, shown by Faithlyn Shoal. Congratulations, gal. Your reserve national champion comes out of the senior division. Entry 3728. That's 5RF Square Shooter, shown by Olivia Rosemeyer. Congratulations, girls. Once we get some photos done, your next class will be best pair senior does. Best pair senior does. All you guys that just left the ring, keep in mind all those does need to go back to the turn loose area to be tested. All those 6 does need to go to the test area in the back of the ring, please. All 6 does to the test area, please. Immediately following this, the photos, we will need percentage get a sire. Percentage get a sire. Results of your best senior pair. Your reserve national champion goes to Miss Logan Holland. And your national champion pair, Miss Ashley Gurley. Congratulations, ladies. Congratulations. Get a sire is your next class. Percentage get a sire. Once again, we need all 6 of those champions. If you're not in a group class, all 6 of our national champions need to go back to the turn-loose area for random testing. All 6 percentage national champions back to the test area, please. Results of your Get a Sire class. Your reserve national champion goes to Mr. Tegan Walker. Your national champion Get a Sire, Miss Grace Ellis. Congratulations, guys. This time we're showing for Produce a Dam. Produce a Dam. Produce, I might say that the Get a Sire and Produce of Dam classes sponsored by Flextran. We thank Flextran for their support of our National Junior Boar Goat program. Attention at ringside. If you happen to have a corgi, that's a dog for those of you that are not dog folks. If you got a corgi back in the barn, he is running amok. You might check on your little corgi back in the barn. And the reality is, rules say no dogs allowed in the barn. He needs to go home. Unless he's a service animal or with a service and has a service vest and registered in the office. Results of your Produce a Dam class, your reserve national champion, Miss Allison LeConte's pair, and then your grand champion, national Produce a Dam, exhibited by Grace Ellis. Congratulations, girls. Once we get some photos, our final group class, if I'm recalling right, our final group class, percentage breeders herd. Percentage breeders herd. Might say, while these kids are coming in with their final class, what a phenomenal week we've had in this facility from starting with the market side all the way through all our breeding stock the last 2 days. Let's give all these junior kids a big round of applause. Phenomenal junior show this week. It's because of those young people. That's what this show's really all about. Congratulations, young folks. For those of you in the open show buck exhibitors, it looks like start time. Start time for the National Open Buck Show will be 12:30. 12:30. Oh man, I got good news. Good news from a fat man on the microphone. Randall White. Randall White says there will be barbecue and ribs at NCAP 11 at 12 noon. Better news, better news. It's free and open to anyone who wants to stop by. Hosted by Gibbs Farm, Mackey Family Farm, and Crooked Creek. Hey, hey, don't miss out. Don't miss out on that one now. Results of our Breeders' Herd. Your reserve national champion Breeders' Herd goes to Miss the Herd of Grace Ellis. And your national champion Breeders' Herd, Miss Allie Gurley. Congratulations, girls. That concludes our percentage national junior show. Once again, if you are one of those 6 that had national champions or reserves, those does need to go to the backdrop or to the turn loose area for random testing. Those 6 does must report to the turn loose area for random testing. Again, open show will start with the buck division 12:30.